from the dead.
Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam, Idil.
Waalaikumsalam, Idil.
I hope everyone is okay. Yeah, once you have got back from your 1 week break anyway. Alhamdulillah. Okay. I would like to inform that I won't be able to record the lectures anymore after this. Yeah. Something goes wrong with my Google Drive after I've sent my laptop I mean, I don't know why, but I sent my laptop for repair, and there are things that is missing, and also my Google Drive is almost full for the UITM account. So I won't be able to record. After all, yeah, if you were to attend physical classes pun tak ada recording kan. So might as well do without it lah. Okay. So please, if you have any questions regarding the topics, any topics, yeah, we can discuss either during the lecture like this, or you can ask me during tutorials. Okay. All right. So we will start off with topic on that I have displayed, yeah, on the requirements engineering. What requirements engineering is all about, and then we will be looking into the first activity in requirements engineering, that is requirements elicitation. This is the first step that you have to conduct, yeah, in order for you to actually go deeper into the problem that you have identified. Okay, so far the problem that I gave you,
Mirrors,
yeah, is for you to find a grocery
Budus.
store, right? A grocery store that does not have any online ordering system. That is your task, to identify or to find out one grocery store that does not have an online ordering system. So you are there to study about the business process that is conducted in the organization, right? Learn deeper about the what the store is actually selling, how the store is categorizing their products, okay, currently, and also you are supposed to be producing an online ordering system so that, right, so that the user or the customers, ya, ada beberapa objektif ya. Satu ialah untuk customer be able to place order online. Satu lagi ialah not only to place order online, ya. Satu lagi ialah once order is being placed, okay, there is there is some activities that is going on with regards to the stock, yeah, in the store itself. Of course, katakanlah initially dalam store tu ada 50 kampit beras. Once a customer place the order of satu kampit, alright, at katakanlah pukul 2 p.m. a customer places the order of one packet of beras. So what happens is that the stock has been reduced. Okay, which means that if there is another customer placing the same product, beras tu, yeah, the customer who came in later will see that the stock is not 50 anymore. The stock has reduced to 49, and subsequently. Itu daripada perspektif administrator of the store. Daripada perspektif customer pula, yeah, as they place order of the available products, yeah, place order in the carts. Of course, you can see that the total amounts that is to be paid as they check out will be increasing. Ini adalah functionality yang common that you can find in any ordering system. Okay, so you will have to study about other functionalities that can be found in online ordering system and adapt it, yeah, to the grocery store who happens to be your respondent. And please ensure that the grocery store is willing to give cooperation with you when you are doing your data collection process. All right. So as I mentioned tadi, data collection, right? Data collection is elicitation. All right. So we start off. Sekejap ya. We start off with the topic of requirements elicitation. So far, any questions before I proceed with this topic?
No, madam.
Perhaps after the lecture, ya, sebab lepas ni memang banyak hands-on yang you kena buat. Alright. Okay, so on requirement solicitation, so this will be the outline of the topic that we will be looking into today, right? So first is about definition of requirements and then requirements engineering. There is a field now called requirements engineering, what it is, right? Then RE is requirements engineering, yeah, requirements engineering activities. Okay, what are the activities that can be found in requirements engineering? Then we will be focusing on the first activity in requirements engineering, that is elicitation, requirements elicitation. So we will be looking into elicitation techniques. All right. Elicitation means you are trying to collect information from your respondents. Right. We will also be looking into how you can document workflows with the first activity, the first UML diagram introduced in this class. That is activity diagram. This is the first UML diagram introduced in ISP550. Yeah, activity diagrams. It is not that hard because it is very similar. I don't say it's the same. It's very similar to flowcharts. Ada sedikit difference with flowcharts. You'll see what it is, right? Then after you have documented the workflow, right? Next is about analysis. Okay, we go in the first part of analysis, that is to segregate or categorize the requirements into functional requirements and non-functional requirements. We'll see what they are. Functional requirements, apa definition and how it is being used, and what is meant by non-functional requirements. So from the data that you have gathered through the elicitation techniques that you will be applying, the data is considered to be raw data. Meaning to say that the raw data has to be analyzed so that it will be useful, yeah, in the process of you producing the solution to the problem of online ordering system for the grocery store, right? So this will be the learning objective. This define requirements and requirements engineering, right? Then the RE activities, which is whereby the elicitation is the first activity in RE. Then describe information gathering techniques. Yeah, bendanya sama. Ya, requirements elicitation, information gathering, data collection. These are similar things, right? So we have several techniques available and determine when each is best applied. It is not that you can apply all techniques to all kinds of situation. No, you will have to understand how the situation is and then identify the best technique to gather the requirements, right? Then describe the types of requirements once you have gathered the information. Now, let's have a look at this caricature. Okay. We have several roles, yeah, in development. In systems development, there are several roles involved. Okay. The first is about customer, of course. Customer will have to explain, will have to express what they need. Okay. So as the customer explained, looks like what they want is to have a swing with 3 layers of seats. Okay, this one, customer. When I talk about all this, your customer, project leader, analyst, try to relate this to the terminology of stakeholders. Right? We have seen who stakeholders are, and we have also identified the internal and external stakeholders. All right. Basically, there are three categories of stakeholders: the users, the funders, or the owner that actually sponsors the project. And third category is the development team. Yeah, user, funder, and owner, and also development team. Right? So we have the customer who explained it. We have the project leader, analyst, programmer, business consultant. They are part of the development team. Okay, and also the customer here may also include the owner. Sometimes they play two roles. A person may play two roles. They can be the customer who will be using the system directly, and also they can be the owner of the system, which means that this project is funded by the owner or the sponsor, right? So customer explains it, and somehow the project leader understood it by having two branches, yeah, the ropes to be tied to two branches of the tree, right? Somehow, how the analyst designed it, okay, canggih sikit ni, potong pokok separuh, okay, tying up the swing there. Then how programmer wrote it. Programmers ni biasalah. Um, Not to say biasa. Sometimes they do that looping, endless loop lah semua tu kan, macam-macam. Yeah. Now, how business consultant described it? Why business consultant diletak so far? Business consultant ni normally they look from the top management perspective. So, business consultant, top management, of course kena duduk atas sofa. Tak naklah duduk atas plank kan? Yeah. All right. Then, how project was documented? Unfortunately, there is no documentation at all. See this? As they go along, right? The project was not documented. And then how operations installed halfway through, just the rope, right? And then how the customer was built. It's like a roller coaster, up and down. Bills keep on coming. System is not ready. Okay. How it was supported, pun halfway through. Awal-awal dia support, right? And then what the customer really needed is actually a swing yang buat daripada daya ni, tak payah nak ada sofa ke, tak payah nak ada planks je. So how do you interpret this diagram? How do you interpret this diagram? Anyone?
Misunderstanding
Misunderstanding of
the objective of the purpose.
of the purpose of having the system. Okay,
Yes.
that is one, right? Okay, so, right. Kenapa misunderstanding tu berlaku? Thank you, Haikal. Very good.
Sebab organisation tu tak clear apa yang diorang nak.
Okay, objektif tak clear lah, Amirul, ya? Okay.
Yeah.
Sebab apa? What's the main reason? Miscommunication. Thank you, Kamarul. Yes. How can we reduce the miscommunication?
Have multiple meetings.
Have multiple. Okay, have multiple. Right. Thank you, Kamarul. Visualize through what? Conduct interview, Natasha. Yes, this is to gather information, right? Visualize through what? Diagrams, pictures, words. Right, Amirul, prototype. Satu yang paling, okay. Satu yang paling, thank you all for answering. Yang paling ketara, ya, yang you nampak paling ketara di sini ialah ni. How the project was documented. Tak ada langsung. Which means that the documentation before the system is being developed, ya, secara, to proceed to develop a system. Now, you cannot have a system ready sebaik sahaja you gather the requirements kan. Habis saja requirement system dah ready. Tak boleh macam tu. So what is the milestone that we can show the customer that we have understood what they want, right? And we are in the process of coming up with the system that they want finally. But along the way, there are instances whereby kita kena produce dia punya milestones, delivery milestones. Okay, so delivery milestones yang paling penting ialah documentation and as well as prototype. Prototype sendiri sahaja pun tak mencukupi kalau it is not supported with documentation. Okay, so you can see that how documentation plays the role to reduce miscommunication, right, among the stakeholders. Kita tak boleh nak tunggu sampai sistem tu siap baru tahu, oh sistem ni betul lah seperti apa yang saya nak. Tak. Yeah, along the way, because we have several phases. Tengok balik dekat topik 3 itu, ya, SDLC itu. We have several phases. Kena pula ada waterfall and also iterative development. Alright. So along the way, sebelum sistem tu siap sepenuhnya, macam mana kita nak tunjuk dekat customer? Okay, along the way, bahagian ini dah siap. Ini lebih kuranglah rupa sistem tu di akhirnya. Okay, through system you can have a prototype, but the prototype has also must be supported with documentation. Why? Because the documentation may also play a role as an agreement between the customer and the development team. Okay, agreement in the sense of what? Okay, kalau halfway through, ya, selepas you dah gather requirements and so on, and you have documented what the user wants, you may have a review meeting. Yeah, you and your customer may have a review meeting, not to review the whole system as yet, of course, tak siap lagi. You may have a prototype to validate the requirements, and this is what you're doing in this class, yeah? You may have a prototype to validate the requirements and a document to support it so that both parties have agreed, okay, this is what we want, this is what we will be developing, says the developers, right? And that may involve partial payment. Yeah, payment is also very important. It's very crucial. Dalam development process, payment dia tak buat sekali harung. Kan katakanlah sistem tu dia kata 200,000. You don't wait until the system is totally ready and pay 200,000. Neither you paying upfront 200,000 and wait for the system to be ready. No. Okay, selalunya akan berlaku partial payment as you progress. They call it as progress payment. So macam mana kita nak claim progress payment sedangkan sistem belum siap? Salah satu caranya ialah to have documentation, proper documentation. So in this class, we are teaching you in producing not only the end product, how to produce the end product, what the processes that you have to go through in order for you to produce the end product, but also how to properly document things that is related to the system that you are going to develop. All right? Okay. Next, okay, this will be the definition of requirements as well as requirements engineering, right? So we talk about requirements. Yeah, this is condition of capability needed by a user to solve a problem or achieve an objective. That is what we call as requirements. So kita kena tahu problem tu apa, of course. Okay, so in order to solve the problems, what are needed? That is what is requirements. And RE or requirements engineering, yeah, this is a systematic, see this, systematic and disciplined approach to the specification and management of requirements. Requirements have to be properly managed, have to be properly managed systematically, and there is a discipline to do it. There's an approach to do it. As you have, I'm sure, if you have learned about project management, yeah, as project management have their own body of language, body of knowledge, so does requirements engineering. Okay, there are also body of knowledge in requirements engineering. Now, okay, yeah, paham requirements engineering, systematic and disciplined approach. So what are the activities in RE? Okay. It vary widely depending on the application domain, the types of application that you are going to develop, yeah, the people involved and the organization developing the requirements. However, these are the generic process that is common, yeah, to any kinds of application domain and also any kinds of organization. So what are the generic activities? First is, of course, elicitation. That is to gather the requirements, to identify the requirements. And once you have identified the requirements, it has to be analyzed. There are several techniques to do analysis. Yeah. The data or requirements that you have gathered, they are not, you can't actually use them until it is being analyzed. Okay, you have gathered, but somehow it has to be analyzed. Then once the requirements have been analyzed, you need to validate them to ensure, to confirm that you have conducted the correct analysis yang setara dengan kehendak user. Okay, and finally it's about requirements management. But somehow in this class, kita fokus kepada 1, 2, 3 requirements management ni, skop dia luas, tapi dalam kelas ini kita ambil documentation sebagai salah satu aspek in requirements management. In you producing the documents, so that the documents, yeah, are consistent with the prototype that you are producing, as well as it is traceable to the data that you have gathered from your stakeholder. Ya, apa yang you document tu mestilah setara dengan apa yang you dah dapat daripada stakeholders, right? Dan juga setara dengan apa yang you dah letakkan dekat dalam prototype for the validation purposes. Okay, in practice, RE is an iterative activity. It is not one time terus betul semua. Tak. It is iterative, right? You have to repeat the process. Now, this is a spiral view of the RE process. Okay, so you may start off with business requirement specification. Business requirement specification ni, it's a very high level. Tengok overall of the business tu, yeah. Then you do the feasibility study. Ini kita dah touch semasa topik project management itu. There are types of feasibility studies in terms of economical, in terms of technology, in terms of cultural, right? Feasibility is supposed to be conducted. Then if it is feasible, if the solution is feasible, then only you proceed with the user requirements elicitation. Okay, from the business requirements, okay, baru you focus kepada user requirements. Business requirements ni daripada organizational perspective. This is from the user's perspective, right? Once you have done the elicitation, you proceed with this specification, right? Then prototyping for, you see this? This is for validation. Okay. Then go into the system requirements elicitation. Ini dah a bit more technical. Okay, this is a bit more technical. Then you go into the system requirement specification and also modeling. Okay, ini kita akan buat. Okay, you will be producing a document containing all the modelings, not all, several. And to the quadrant of requirements validation, other reviews. And finally, you have the requirements documented. Okay. Okay. Now, we start off with elicitation. This is what you will be doing next with regards to your class project. Yeah. So this is the practice of obtaining requirements of a system from users. See this? Users, customers, and other stakeholders. Users can be direct users, can be indirect users. What does it mean by direct and indirect users? Direct users are those who directly interact with the system. Okay, they are the ones who log into the system, enter data to the system, and do whatever. Okay, let's take the perspective of online ordering. So, siapa user? Ya, kita boleh nampak user ni are the ones yang place the order, customer, right? Dan juga user daripada apa ni? From the grocery store itself can be the administrator who probably update the price of the product and so on. So they are using the system to update the price. Let's say price ada price increase ke, ada promotion ke apa, so dia kena update the price. So they update the price also through the system. Contoh. So they are also they are also called the direct users. What about indirect users? Indirect users are normally the people, they don't use the system directly, but the output of the system, ya, contohnya reports ke, ya, normally is reports, ya. Reports yang dihasilkan oleh sistem itu diguna pakai oleh mereka to make some kinds of decision. So these are called as indirect users. Okay, so you know who customers are. Customers are external stakeholders, of course, and also other stakeholders, probably competitors as well, right? So the practice is also sometimes referred to as requirements gathering or requirements identification. Lebih kurang sama, yeah? So what are the techniques used for requirements elicitation? Okay, ini saya rasa you have gone through a lot in other classes as well, right? So interviews, questionnaires, user observation, yeah, workshops, do brainstorming, role playing, and also prototyping. Among the techniques, mungkin ada later techniques, ya, kalau you belajar tentang apa ni, development methodology yang baru, they also introduce new techniques, ya. Alright. So problems discovered during requirement solicitation, contohnya problems or scope. Okay. Boundary of system is ill-defined or unnecessary details are provided. Okay. So as you do your elicitation, contohnya, you choose to conduct interview, right? And you tanya dekat your stakeholder, okay, Encik, sistem ni nanti online ordering. Okay, yang mana you bagi tahulah the typical online ordering apa yang sepatutnya berlaku. Okay, but somehow the owner of the shop kata, saya nak sistem ni nanti selain daripada customer boleh place order, boleh tengok the current stock ever, kalau stok baru sampai, stok beras yang baru sampai, saya nak sistem ni juga mengemas kini, be able to update the new stocks coming. Are you going to entertain that or not? Is that part of your online ordering system? See that? So itu you kena decide sama ada, ya, normally it is not lah, ya, the boundary. You have to have a strict boundary. Otherwise, the boundary will keep on expanding and never ending. You tak tahu dekat mana scope of your system, dekat mana limitation dia. Yeah, because kalau you keep on asking of the boundary to your stakeholders, nanti it will be ill-defined. Dah tak tahu kat mana dah. Right? Macam tadilah, back to the diagram tadi. Okay, so they express all kinds of things, and if you are trying to entertain all whatever that they say, then you will get this system to out of scope sometimes, right? Second, problems of understanding. Users are not sure of what they need and they don't have full understanding of the problem domain. Online ordering, apa dia punya problem domain? Setakat mana sepatutnya? Okay, this is what you are supposed to be explaining to your stakeholders if they don't understand, right? Somehow, there is also problems of volatility. whereby requirements change over time. Okay, so this normally happens, when you, ini biasalah kalau you interact with your users, hari ni dia nak macam ni, besok nak macam lain. Okay, the next day dia nak macam dulu. They change over time. So how to avoid this is to have a properly documented kind of recording ke macam mana ke, so that bila adanya perubahan yang mereka minta, you may say that this has been agreed upon before. So kami tak boleh nak entertain banyak sangat perubahan. Especially ini saya selalunya berlaku, especially when you are in the working environment later, to entertain your clients. Now, guidelines for requirement solicitation. First, you have to assess the business and technical feasibility of the proposed system. In terms of feasibility, kita dah tengok dekat topik project management yang itu. Apa maksudnya business feasibility and technical feasibility for the proposed system. For instance, if your stakeholder says that, oh, we don't have enough equipment to run the application tu nanti, okay, tak ada server ke, tak ada apa ke, or we don't have the tak ada budget nak buat sistem tu apa semua. Kalau you tak boleh nak solve in terms of dia punya budget constraints dan apa ke, then it is not technically feasible lah. Kalau you propose pun, they will always reject because they don't have the capability to own the system. So you have to do proper assessment. Betul ke dia nak guna pakai sistem tu nanti? Okay, I'm talking this daripada alam pekerjaan yang sebenar. Tapi kalau untuk academic class project ni, get your stakeholder as much as possible yang nak bekerja sama. Kalau pun dia tak technically feasible, as long as they are willing to cooperate, willing to give answers to your questions dan apa tu, so insyaAllah that will be enough because this is the academic project. Tapi in reality, kalau you jumpa user nanti, yang memang tak boleh nak cater for that, then tak boleh nak proceed lah. Dia tak boleh nak cater for the technical feasibility ke, ataupun we talk about cultural feasibility the other day. Let's say pekerja-pekerja dia memang tak nak pakai sistem, then you will be in big trouble even if you have developed one. Then identify the people who will help specify requirements, not just any people. Right? So you are lucky because we have specified earlier on that it will be an online ordering system. Sebab online ordering system is not first of its kind, You boleh tengok banyak contoh-contoh dan you dah boleh agak dah siapakah the people who will help specify the requirements. Right? So you can already identify the people who is going to be involved. Okay? By having a look at your respondent. Then define the technical environment. Contohnya computing architecture, the operating system, telecommunication needs in which the system or product will be placed. Ini tadi technical feasibility lah ni. Right? Then identify the domain constraints. That is characteristics of the business environment specific to the application domain. Right? That limit the functionality or performance of the system or product to be built. Contohnya, okay, in terms of storage database dia. Okay, so how much space do they can offer that your customers are willing to spend? So kalau tak berapa banyak, then you have to limit it according to the functionality. Nanti kita akan tengok, Define one or more requirement solicitation methods, right? So interviews, team meetings, etc. Okay, please don't limit yourself only to interviews. It is not enough. At least, saya bagi tahu, at least to 2. The interviews as well as document reading. Okay, document reading contohnya katakanlah you punya stakeholder tu boleh bagi tahu apakah produk yang mereka jual dekat dalam store
Banyak ni kolam
tersebut.
ikan yang mantap-mantap tu Mirul.
Okay.
Tapi
Probably they have it
kolam
in a
macam yang
book
kita pergi sebelum ni,
or
pasal timbang
in a
untuk
paper
ikan ni
ke
dapat.
apa ke. Kena ambil maklumat
kolam ni
tersebut.
kena bayar.
Minta kebenaran.
Okay.
Kami, just for
So,
academic
ikut
purposes,
jam.
we'd like to know what types of products that you sell in this shop. Alright?
Kuasa tu je, satu je sel yang baca yang timbang.
Okay. Then solicit participation from many people so that requirements are defined from different point of views. You might not have much time for this, but in order to do so, what you can do is to have a look at the available online ordering systems. Ya, banyak online ordering systems, so that you know what the requirements, the common requirements are. Common requirements. Probably when you interview your stakeholder, you can get the more specific requirements, but the general and common requirements can be obtained from other similar systems. Okay, then create usage scenarios of the use cases to help customer or users better identify key requirements. Tak apa ya, ini nanti kita akan tengok macam mana. Right? Right, so for interviewing, I believe that this is also another revision for you, right? Formal or informal interviews. Kalau formal ni kena proper set up and so on. Kalau informal probably mungkin boleh jadi impulse or impromptu punya talk over coffee ke, sembang-sembang macam tu, okay? But formal, you have to actually address them properly and so on. Right, and then types of interviews, we have closed interviews and open interviews, whereby closed interviews are based on predetermined list of questions, and open interviews where various issues are explored with stakeholders. Now, it doesn't mean that when we talk about open interviews, there are no predetermined questions. No. Whenever you decide to conduct interview, you have to be prepared with questions.
lancau.
Okay, cumanya bila open interview ni mungkin ada soalan-soalan daripada predetermined list of questions ni that makes your respondents
Awal lah,
will
Mirul,
explore
ya.
further. Will tell you more about what you want to know.
Sombong amat.
Okay, you are able to explore with your stakeholders with it.
Nak TFT.
Right, so to have an effective interviewing, you have to be open-minded, avoid preconceived ideas about the requirements. Not to say that,
Aku nak order
macam
ni
tadi
lah.
saya ada kata to get the general concept of
Siapa
online
boleh run
ordering, you dah tengok kepada sistem yang
boleh run ni?
ada, yang sedia ada sekarang ni banyak.
Bodoh ke Foodpanda
Okay.
kan, lepas tu kau buat special
Tapi
request.
jangan
Serius
limit
lah, boleh?
the requirements to what you have seen only.
Boleh?
I mean,
You have to
I don't
listen
think
to
I've
what
seen
your
someone do it lah, but
stakeholders
kalau orang tu
want.
tak macam ni,
Okay,
tak sorting,
so
tak boleh
walaupun
juga.
sometimes
Tak ni.
apa yang dia nak
Aku
tu
nak buat apa? Food
sometimes
delivery.
it becomes a bit ridiculous, but
buy
just
any food,
listen
lepas
to
tu
them.
cakap, stop buying
Avoid
here.
preconceived ideas. Unless
Tapi
your
beli
stakeholders
je tu,
memang
dia
tak ada
pusing.
idea langsung what online ordering is, then you can give ideas to
Dah
them.
lama senang.
Right? Then prompt the interviewee to get discussions going
sudah
using a
Petik
springboard
aku.
questions, requirements,
Live
proposal,
roasting.
or by working together and prototype system. Okay.
Malam.
Ini you already
Malam
have a
ni last
session,
juga.
tapi untuk to have
boleh run aku ni,
working together in a prototype system ni,
Aku nak
selalunya
pergi
it
disposable
works with
border,
stakeholders or
takut masuk
respondents
kedai.
yang memang tak
Takut
tahu
takut
apa-apa
kedai,
tentang
sial.
sistem tersebut. In your case, itu sebab online
Yeah,
ordering
I
system
don't
dah.
want to be seen
Maknanya
though.
tahu bahawa stakeholders you
Bahaya
ni
lah
memang
orang
tak
tu.
pernah tengok online ordering
Asal
system, which
bahaya
is
pula,
very
sial.
uncommon in these days, ya. Dia tak tahu langsung apa
Nanti
online ordering
orang
system,
sendiri. Aku tak tahu ke.
dan you
Tak
nak
dapat
bagi
CCTV
gambaran
kat
tentang online
grocery.
ordering system, then you have a prototype. Cumanya sekarang your stakeholder bila you interview dekat
Want to know.
the grocery
Okay.
store tu, kemungkinan your stakeholder tu berpengalaman menjadi
I hope that's still
customer
enough
to
guys.
another
Kalau
online
aku satu
ordering
disposable
system.
pun like about a week.
So dia boleh
3
ceritakan
should be
apa
around
customer
around
nak,
a month lah.
walaupun sebenarnya in this perspective of your class
Tiga
project,
surga. Aku
dia
call
bukannya
3.
customer, dia merupakan administrator dekat dalam sistem tersebut, because in reality, once the system is developed, development dah complete, you will hand over the system to the grocery store and they will have to administer it. Contohnya, bila you interview the person dekat the grocery store tu, mungkin dia tak tahu bahawa there should be a function to update price in the system, because selama ni dia merupakan customer of system lain. So customer of course dah tak boleh nak update price kan.
Macam mana aku boleh hilang
Okay,
extension
they don't
tu?
realize
Bro?
that being an
I
administrator,
still
they
cannot
are
fathom how
they are supposed to
and
be
where to
able
put
to
it.
update price
Aku tak
in the
rajuk je.
system,
Tak ada.
or to do some kinds of updating lah
I
in the
cannot, I
system.
cannot get a visa.
boleh.
Right? So you should be
Yeah.
able to engage in the conversation to convince them that
Ingat kau
being an
tengok
administrator,
story
these
yang
are the
siapa-siapa
things
kat
that you
luar.
can do.
Yang
Okay,
dulu tu
kalau
lah.
through
Bila balik,
explanation dia
aku
tak
kepala
faham,
bunyi
then you
lah.
kena
Aku
produce a
tak suara
prototype
dia.
to explain so. Right? Alright, so interviewing users and other stakeholders, you prepare detailed questions. Okay, meet with individuals or group of users, obtain and discuss. Okay, document the answers, and follow up as needed in future meetings or interviews. Now, what do I say this? Now, okay, so meet with individuals or groups of users. Now, you have several members in your group. Ya, katakanlah ada 5 atau 6, janganlah ke semua 5 atau 6 orang ini pergi kepada stakeholder untuk conduct interview. Okay, it will be menyusahkan mereka. So among your team, pilih yang berkenaan. Yeah, you have your own work breakdown structure. Who will do what? Designated roles kan? So pilih beberapa mungkin. Yes, of course, you have to do it in a team. What you do in your team meeting probably to form questions. All right, what to do during the interview and so on. But the actual person, the actual members who go for the interview session tu tak payah semualah. Ya, dua lah, selalunya 2 atau 3. Right, as necessary. Tak payah semua, ya. Nanti you menyusahkan you punya stakeholder, langsung dia tak nak bagi kerjasama lagi, you susah nanti. Alright, now how to form questions. This is another main issue. Nak tanya apa, madam? Nak tak jumpa orang ni? Okay. So, Ustaz Zinger has given the guideline on what to ask. Okay. So, you dah buat appointment dengan you punya stakeholder, dengan person in charge from the grocery store. Nak tanya apa? Okay. First, you have to understand the business operations and the process. And ask them, what do you do? Encik bekerja sebagai apa dekat kedai ni dan apa tugas encik? Okay. Right. Sebaiknya you carilah your respondent ni is a person who understands the whole business process in the organization. He or she should understand in and out about the things that are being sold in the shop, in the grocery store. Okay, how the things are arranged accordingly, who the suppliers are, and whatnot. Okay, jangan pilih responder yang hanya tahu bahawa ini barang yang kami jual di kedai kami. Macam mana encik arrange barang ni? Oh, ini bukan kerja saya, ini kerja orang lain.
Ambil queue dulu ke?
Okay, get that orang lain so that they know how the products are being arranged. So that they know who the suppliers of the products. So that they know when order is supposed to be placed if the stock is decreasing, depleting.
Not one some
Siapa
system
supplier of certain products? Walaupun berkemungkinan that is out of the scope of your system, but the information is relevant. Dia tak masuk scope system yang you nak come up with in your prototype, tapi the information is relevant. Yeah. So get the right person from the grocery store to answer that question. Right. Then next, the first theme is about the business operation and processes. This is very important ya. Sekejap lagi kita akan tengok kepada documenting workflows. Okay. Documenting workflows come from the answers that you obtain from these two questions. What do you do? So he will answer what he does and how should those operations be performed. Okay, kalau dia kata, oh saya kerja saya ialah menyusun products dekat dalam store ini. Okay, susun, it's not only susun lah, ya. Mungkin ada, kalau ada price berubah, saya kena maklumkan, whatever. Right. So, how do you do it? Okay, so Encik, okay, Encik susun barang dekat kedai ni ya. Macam mana Encik susun barang? Ada kategori macam mana? Encik kalau ada kenaikan harga, macam mana Encik tukar ke label dekat shelf tu? Ataupun how do you do it to indicate that the price has changed? Right? What steps do you follow? Dia bukan sesuka hati dia boleh tampal price baru kan? Right? And how could they be done differently? So instead of, ya, Encik rasa kan, instead of Encik kena update, katakanlah they have Excel. Let's say they are using Excel. So kalau ada price update, they have to go through each item and put key in the new price. Is it tedious? Ada 1,000 items that they have to update all the items, all the 1,000 items. So how could they be done differently? So probably dia akan cakap, kalau ada sistem kan lebih mudah saya nak kemas kini. Kena apa ni? Tentang perubahan harga barang. Okay, catch that as one of the requirements. Alright? And then what information is needed to perform those operations? Again, Encik susun barang, apa maklumat yang diperlukan untuk penyusunan barang? Shelf ni macam mana Encik label? Okay, what inputs do you use? What outputs do you produce? Okay, kalau Encik check stock, apa? Yeah, you have to check it against what? What documents is there for you? Ya, dokumen daripada mana? Kan you nak check stok. Lepas you check stok tu, barang tu senarai tu pergi ke mana? Nak check dia punya consistency and so on. Ini contoh ya, saya bagi. Okay. So these are among the questions that you should be asking to your respondent. Now, beside conducting interview to know or to get this data, macam saya kata tadi, if they have, selalunya memang adalah, they have a documentation of the products being sold in the grocery store dan minta kebenaran untuk ambil gambar ke, fotokopi ke maklumat tersebut. And please emphasize that this is meant for academic project. No, nothing to do with commercial. Alright, padamlah maklumat-maklumat yang confidential tu. We just want to know what products you are selling and how you are organizing the products. Yeah?
Dia semua tidur dulu.
Okay.
Alright.
So, slide ni, walaupun satu slide, themes ni is very important. Okay, you go from the broad perspective, what do you do? And then you shallow it down kepada apa maklumat yang mereka guna pakai, what inputs do they use to conduct the activity, and what outputs do they produce once the activity has been conducted. Okay? Right, so these are the steps or the checklist, yeah, for conducting interview. Apa kena buat before you conduct the interview? Just follow the checklist. Make sure that you have all this, right? And then ini secara formal lah, ya, interview session agenda. All these have to be properly documented. If you have it in your email, then keep
Oh,
that
access.
email. Don't ever you delete the email
Yeah.
because all this have to be attached in your documentation as proof that you have conducted your data gathering session. Yeah. Okay. So interviews in practice normally a mix of closed and open-ended macam saya cakap tadi lah ya. Interviews are good for getting overall understanding of what stakeholders do and how they might interact with the system based on the three things that I mentioned in one slide just now. Somehow, right, interviews are not good for understanding the domain requirements. Okay, whereby requirements engineering cannot understand specific domain terminology, and some domain knowledge is so familiar that people find it to articulate a thing that it isn't worth articulating. Now, I believe that some of you might be saying, buat apalah kita nak tahu macam mana dia nak categorize the products? It is important. Yeah, you can't simply ignore how they arrange the products. Okay, ada dia punya we call it as a pattern, ya. Planogram. Hari itu satu kumpulan dah present kat saya, bagus. They found out that planogram can be used as a basis on for the retail shops to arrange the products. Okay. All right, so let's take 5 before I proceed with other elicitation techniques. Sekejap ya.
Dah reti tak?
Ada. Tak sampai.
Dah boleh. Dia ada flash tau.
Mati.
Ai. Mau dive ah?
Belum.
Saya bilang
Dia bilang kat Google.
saat ku melihatmu, kau sedang mesraan dengan seorang
Sedap, babi.
yang kegenau. Suha memang tak ada bulu. Dicolah batu. Suhail berbulu, Suhail memang banyak bulu.
Mi lancau. Dah cukup beli dia bagi 800. Tak cukup lagi.
Ini satu side.
Tengok aku.
Ni kau pergi kat belakang ni. Pakai kat top. Tunggu game nak datang.
Ya, aku nak minyak. Kat belakang.
Ya. Tunggu mini ni sampai. Pakai.
Kat sini. Semua ada.
Nak ambil Zinza punya ni tak? Blue tak?
Dua hijau je kot. Tak boleh.
Tak nak?
Tak nak.
Gua ada lead ni. Boleh bunuh siapa ni?
Jom.
Dah lambat lah
Kat
bodoh. Dia
mana
dah ambil
ni?
lah. Dia tengah ambil tadi.
Iya betul.
Shit. Nocturne. 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 Ni mantap. Babi Azul ni. Azul ni smooth babi.
Weh, aku beli ni tak ada pun. Aku punya
Kau
ulti
kill.
cepat. Oh.
Kau tadi
Babi.
ulti, lepas tu kena cut. Mana dapat ulti macam mana?
Dia only blank babi.
Dia ulti dia buat apa? Game plan Lux easy.
Baik kau.
Sial je game plan. Not turn. Ni. Mak Mantap.
Oh shit.
Mak
Oh, dunia pai tarik kak.
Kau lari dah patah balik sini ni. Biar Pak tarik.
Tak, aku ingat dia tak tarik. Oh.
Okay, let's continue with other elicitation techniques that is available, right? It will be distributing questionnaires, document review. I've mentioned about document review just now. Brainstorming and also observation. Now for questionnaire, okay, this is meant for large number of respondents. If you are targeting large number of respondents, then
Dapat
you
sound
should be
sedap.
conducting or you should be distributing questionnaire, right?
Yup.
But in your case, if you
pula melingkar.
are dealing with one or two stakeholders, right, in the grocery store, then questionnaire is not relevant.
Ui, dah lawan ni.
Okay, the best is for you to conduct interview. Now, apa maksud interview?
Babi.
Interview comes from two words. Interview. Inter means more than one party. There are two parties involved in this context. More than one party.
Dah,
And view
Ai.
means that it
Mak
has a physical
Asal bega balik kat
viewing
situ?
of the parties involved. Right? It
Apa
may not
duduk
be
dulu?
physical, means that you have to go to the store and do it. Can be
Lagi
online
tu.
interview, but what I would like to emphasize is that you can't simply have
Saya
the
dah ulti lagi tu.
question like this, okay, and then you email to your respondent and get them to answer the questions and get and give the response to you, and you claim that it's interview. No, it is not an
Ada
interview,
vision tu nak ni. Still.
right? So interview has to be either physical or online. Online interview is acceptable. It is best that if you can record the conversation that happens between you and your stakeholder. Minta kebenaran
Sakit
untuk
mat.
record
Azul.
perbincangan tersebut. Yeah, because I would say that it is almost Almost, yeah,
Mantap.
almost impossible for you to jot down everything as your respondents
Mantap.
is answering your questions, especially when they are answering an open-ended questions.
Mantap.
Banyak benda yang dia akan
Mega
ceritakan.
true.
So
Mam
it's
ada
quite
di
impossible
belakang.
for you to jot down. So minta kebenaran untuk rakam. Yeah, to
Tu
record
je
the
nak turn.
conversation. So
Eh,
bila you
suruh
dah
ke?
record the
Kalau
conversation,
dapat kill tak ada pun dapat LT balik.
this is about interview,
Oh,
yeah.
seorang.
When you
3 orang
record the
masuk.
conversation, yeah, macam saya kata tadi, the
Betul
data
lah.
that you
50 second.
have
Dia penalti kau.
identified or gathered is raw data that
Dah
needs to
macam
be
vets lah.
analyzed. So if the data remains in your recorder or in your handphone or whatever, can you analyze it?
No.
Tak boleh kan? So kena buat apa Hasif dengan data yang dah collected, yang being recorded tu?
Buat apa nama tu? Transcript kot.
Transcribe, betul. Okay, you have to transcribe it. Right? You have to produce a transcription of the interview. Maknanya setiap perkara yang you dengar, sekarang ni ada tool kot kan, daripada speech to text, for instance, yeah. So everything kena on paper lah. Tak kisahlah you tulis ke, you type ke apa ke, it has to be documented on paper. Document means to write on paper. It has to be properly documented. Then only you boleh analyze. Okay, you can't simply, madam, saya dah record interview ni, so okay, thank you, you have recorded, but how are you going to analyze kalau you tak transcribe? So you have to produce a transcription of the
Nice
interview.
flash.
Right, then baru you boleh analyze. Okay, good. Now, okay, slide ini menunjukkan contoh ya, input output procedures, contoh-contoh borang kalau store tu ada guna pakai, ataupun contohnya ya, store tu dia tak ada online ordering system, tapi siapa nak order boleh melalui WhatsApp. Okay, so apa maklumat kena letak dekat WhatsApp tu? So ambil lah contoh tu.
Aku bodoh aku nak ambil.
Right, because you nak
Tak nyawa mat.
systemizekan perkara tu kan,
Babi
the
je lah.
data. Alright, now next, once you have obtained the data, what to do? Documenting workflows with activity diagram. Ya, so workflow tersebut perlu dia dokumentkan. So salah satu tools yang boleh kita guna pakai untuk document the workflow
Dia kalah je ni.
is activity
Level ni.
diagram in UML. Okay, so this is definition of workflow. This is a sequence of processing steps that completely handles one business transaction or customer request. Now, I'm sure you have learned ISP550 when you were in part 3 before. So kalau tak ingat apa dia workflow, business process apa semua, semua dia semua telah diajar dalam ISP500. Masa you all part 3 dulu, buka balik nota. Walaupun bukan saya yang ajar. Right? Then activity diagram, yeah.
Baju dia lari.
This is the first UML diagram being introduced in this class.
Kau
This
item
one
tak ada
describes
refund dulu lah,
user or system
Sel. Baru satu
activities,
item
the
anjing.
person who does the activity, and the sequential flow of these activities. And it is useful for showing graphical model of a workflow. Yeah, this is one of the UML diagrams. This is
Ya, boleh.
notation. Kita tengok kepada notation dia dulu. Okay. Dia lebih kurang macam flowchart. Cumanya dalam activity diagram dia ada swim lane. Alright, we'll see how it looks like. Right, there is a swim lane heading. This is a start, yeah, pseudo start. This apa ni, solid bullet,
Bodoh.
solid circle. Right,
Main
this is the
tunggu dalam.
activity in ellipse. Then from one activity to another, the transition, there is a transition arrow, and to show that it is the end of the activity, there is a bullseye, indicate the end of the activity. And in activity diagram, kita boleh ada activities yang mungkin run secara parallel. So if there are more than one activities that can be conducted in parallel, we can have a synchronization bar to
Hazel ni
split
apa?
from the main activity.
Semua babi.
Then we have the activities that is conducted, that may be
Teknologi.
conducted in parallel. And then lepas
Kalau
habis
instrumen tu
yang
tadi.
boleh buat dalam parallel tu, you mergekan balik using another synchronization bar. Right? And if you have a decision activity, macam flowchart, you can
Dalam
have it
ni
in
power juga.
diamond or you can still have it in ellipse, macam aktiviti yang lain juga. Cumanya you
Tak
ada
boleh dapat
dua
swing.
arrow coming out, one arrow coming in, two arrows coming
Faham
out,
dulu lah bosku.
whether it is yes or no decision. So kalau no, apa next activity, kalau yes, apa activity. Right? Itu notations dia. Macam mana penggunaan. Okay. This is an example. One example. See this? This is order processing. Okay, customer. Okay. These are departments in an organization. Okay. So tadi kita tengok bahawa swim lane ni boleh represent sama ada manusia, role dia person, ataupun departments. Okay, so this one is a person, customer, right? And then these are the departments in an organization. This is to highlight the workflow
Ramai.
of order processing. It starts
Oh,
off
kena guna
with
list lagi tu.
the
Dia yang kuat macam anjing.
bullet ni, okay? Then customer place order. Okay, this is an activity, so bila activity has to begin with a verb. The word has to begin with a verb because it is an activity
Dah.
action, right? Then there
Ah.
are several activities, that can be conducted in parallel. Okay, di sini apa yang boleh conduct in parallel? The receive confirmation dengan take order. Tapi you tengok, process order, pack and box, record shipping and ship order, these activities is not in parallel. These activities can only happen after take order has been conducted. Alright, cuma yang boleh happen in parallel ialah receive confirmation dengan take order. Right? So once dah conduct done, you nak merge balik, you use another synchronization bar. And then the customer receive order. Okay, customer pay bills. And then activity by accounting is to close order and ends. Okay, ini tutup dia. Okay, another example. Okay, receive order. Ini tak tunjuk swim lane.
Masuk.
Boleh. Bukan kata salah kalau activity diagram tak tunjuk swim lane.
So,
Boleh. Tapi it is
Izin
preferable for an activity diagram to have swim lane so that we know who is doing what. Whose responsibility is this activity? Yeah. So for example, this one starts with receive order and then two activities here can be done in parallel because it is a synchronization bar, fill order and send invoice. And fill order ni ada decision. Okay, is it a rush order? Yes. If it is not a rush order, it goes to regular delivery. Kalau rush order is overnight delivery, okay, then it emerges, then close order and ends. Okay, tapi kalau activity send invoice and then receive payment and close order. Okay, ini contoh penggunaan dia, right? Okay, so apa yang you nak dokumentkan? Alright. So contoh dekat grocery store ni, selepas you bertanyakan soalan-soalan ni tadi, contohnya this one, you have collected the data, you have recorded the interview session, you have collected the data, you balik, you transcribe all the conversation, you must be able to produce activity diagram. To show the workflow that is being conducted in the grocery store with regards to placing order. Order processing lah ni. Okay, sekarang ni kalau order processing macam mana? Okay, kita kena fahamkan perjalanan dia. Okay. Mungkin keadaan sekarang ni
Serihan
sama
tak
ada
disangka.
ya, customer be
LV
physically
40.
in the store and do the purchasing. Okay, purchasing secara fizikal lah. Ambil bakul as you enter the supermarket, the grocery store, and then put the things in the basket or the trolley, and then as you check out, itu manual. That's totally manual. But macam saya kata tadi, due to MCO baru ni kan, some shops masih kita tak boleh nak keluar total MCO, total lockdown itu, some shops they provide facility
Platinum.
untuk you place order, tapi dia orang tak ada
Gold.
system. What you can do is through WhatsApp.
Gold.
Okay, apa barang you nak,
Emerald.
and then
Diamond.
okay, what are the details that you need to provide to them selain daripada barang apa yang you nak, and then there is a personal
Emerald lah,
shopper
baru platinum je
perhaps, yeah, who will be entertaining your orders, and then how
Diamond
you make the
4 sial.
payment and all that. Okay,
Buat di baru.
so out of the
Dengan
data
good.
that you have gathered tadi daripada slide yang 3
Dia plan buat
themes
di
tu
baru.
tadi, you must be able to produce one
Oh,
activity
padu.
diagram.
Kau rasa dia apa? Gold lah.
Okay,
Gua swimming pool.
Kau rasa dia run
next
apa
is
dia buat
about
activity?
analysis.
Pasal dia
Okay,
duduk
sebelum kita pergi ke
dia swimming pool
into
ada kat
more details, the first thing that you have to be able
Dia kena
to
giggle lah.
segregate
platinum macam tu tak
ataupun
tahu lah
categorize is about the types of requirements.
Dia try champion dia tak tahu lah.
Basically, there are two categories or two types of requirements. All right. First is called the functional requirements. Okay, so this defines of a software system and or its components. They may be calculations, technical details, data manipulation, and processing and other specific functional get define what a system is supposed to accomplish. System tu buat apa tu? Okay, and they describe particular results of a system. Ya, sistem tu untuk buat apa dan apa penghasilan daripada sistem tersebut. Alright. Somehow, functional requirements are supported by non-functional requirements. Let's have a look at both, ya. Senang nak tengok. Now, non-functional requirements, tadi kita tengok ialah functional requirements. Ya, what the system should be doing. And what's the output that the system should be delivering. That's functional. Non-functional, yeah, they are requirements that specify criteria that can be used to judge the operation of a system rather than specific behavior. So behavior is functional. But we talk about quality, okay, criteria, all right, or the performance of a system, those are categorized under non-functional, right? So functional requirements define what the system is supposed to do, whereas non-functional define how a system is supposed to be. Okay, so functional, what the system must do. And non-functional, how a system is supposed to be. Okay, kita tengok. Non-functional requirements can be divided into two main categories. Execution qualities, such as security, usability, yeah, and evolution qualities such as testability, maintainability, and scalability. So basically, non-functional requirements talk about qualities. It's either execution or evolution. Okay. And kita boleh dapatkan acronym of the types of requirements ni. First plus. Okay. F satu je ni untuk functional. Tadi kita dah tahu bahawa non-functional requirements are more about the quality of the system. Okay, whether it is evolution quality or execution quality. So the acronym FIRST plus, yeah, is meant for usability, reliability, performance, security, and plus is even more categories. Contohnya design requirements, and so on. So ini satu je functional, yang lain-lain ni adalah non-functional requirements. Okay, you talk about performance. Say that, okay, katakanlah you interview your punya stakeholder ni. During your conversation, your stakeholders emphasize that, okay, kami sistem ni ya, kami tak nak ada downtime Okay, yang kami boleh tolerate seminggu hanya setengah jam. We can only tolerate half an hour per week of downtime. Is that a requirement? That statement, is that a requirement statement? It is. Yes, it is. Okay. What category of requirements that? It is non-functional, yeah, but it is not usability. Usability ni kalau dia katakan, I'm sure you are familiar with the terminology user friendly and so on. Okay, itu adalah usability. Okay, sekala dia bercakap tentang downtime, processing capability, those are performance. Also categorized under non-functional requirements. Kenapa kita kena segregate the functional and non-functional requirements? Sebab there are modeling yang kita akan hasilkan yang hanya, ya, selepas ni contohnya the use case diagram yang saya akan tunjukkan in the next session. Use case diagram hanya menunjukkan atau mewakili the functional requirements. Non-functional requirements, I would say jarang ada diagram yang boleh mewakilinya. It normally comes in terms of statement. Non-functional requirements kita hanya akan look for deeper when we are in the design phase. Okay, semasa fasa design kita akan tengok dengan lebih lanjut tentang non-functional requirements. Dalam fasa requirements itself, our focus is on functional.
Call talk dulu lah.
Because we are delivering the functionality of the systems to the users. Okay, quality tu bukan kata tak penting, because non-functional can also sometimes be fatal, ya, kalau tak catered for. Alright, but we will have a look at the non-functional requirements in the design, mostly in the design phase, right? Okay. Alright, so this is the some of the example requirements here. Kalau functional, yeah, business rules and processes are example requirements. Non-functional contoh usability, user interface, ease of use, yeah, reliability, failure rate, recovery methods, yeah, performance, response time, throughput, right? Security, access controls, encryption, right? And the plus, yeah, design constraints, implementation, interface, all these are under the plus. So the types of requirements, you just remember the FERPS plus acronym. You know that FERPS, F, hanya F saja untuk functional, the rest are meant for non-functional. All right. Okay, so that wraps up today's topic on requirements elicitation, the first activity in requirements engineering. So we have seen the definition of requirements, yeah, and also requirements engineering. So describe requirements engineering activities. Tadi kita dah tengok the first activity is elicitation, next activity is analysis, goes on to validation and finally management. However, these activities occur iteratively, not necessarily in sequence, right? Then describe information gathering techniques and determine when each is best applied. All right? So you know for interviewing when it is best applied. For macam tadi saya comparekan interviewing dan juga questionnaire. Okay, so based on other interviewing other techniques, you should be able to identify when to best apply what. Now, in your context, for your class project, yeah, at least 2 techniques must be presented, must be visible, at least. Selalunya lebih daripada 2. Yeah, interviewing, yeah, this is the common ones, yeah. Interviewing, document reading, as well as brainstorming. You may have more than that, right? Then, once you have gathered the information, the necessary information, you have documented, you have transcribed it from your interview session, you are supposed to be analyzing the requirements. every statement that appears, you have to know whether it is a requirement. First, you kena scrutinize sama ada statement tersebut merupakan requirements atau tidak. Kalau dia merupakan requirements, then you can categorize them sama ada functional requirements or non-functional requirements. And remember the acronyms of FERPS plus. Functional, usability, reliability, performance, security, and plus design constraints, implementation, and so on. All right. Okay, so regarding your class project, I hope that every groups have identified the respondent, the necessary respondent for your project. And then next task, you'll be having your presentation. Nanti saya akan bagi jadualnya dan juga we call that the template for the presentation, what needs to be there during the presentation, as well as the rubric for the presentation. Okay, so the first part, now you punya data gathering ni secara implicitnya ada dua fasa, tapi you boleh buat sekali kalau you boleh lah. Fasa awal ini ialah untuk pengenalan terhadap organisasi tersebut dan juga identification of problem. Okay, how to conduct menggunakan teknik yang kita dah bincang tadi. Through your interviewing, through your document reading, probably the shop ada brochure ke apa ke kan, ambil semua tu. That is your first phase. In order for you to understand better about the problem that they are facing, except that in your context, you will have to have an online ordering system. Itu you punya context. Alright? The first phase, identification or pengenalan terhadap organisasi. Kemudian, second phase of your data gathering is for you to identify the functionalities of the online ordering system. Again, saya mention tadi bahawa the general functionalities can be obtained from any online system, any online ordering system yang dah ada. Okay, that you might suggest to your stakeholders. Encik, kami nak cadangkan supaya sistem ini ada all these things. Okay, that's fine. That's about functionality. Remember tadi, salah satu functional requirements ialah business rule. What about the business rule? This is where you will have to identify how things are organized in the grocery store. Okay, macam contoh saya suruh you tengok dekat website 99 Speed Mart kan. Okay, 99 Speed Mart dia ada website, tapi website itu hanya untuk memperkenalkan organisasi dan juga untuk memberitahu what products they have. Bukan untuk buat online ordering. Tak ada. There is no application inside. Hanya website untuk memberi pengenalan tentang organisasi dan barangan yang mereka jual. Probably for promotion purposes. Dia ada discount ke promotion bla bla bla. They can post in their website, but no ordering, online ordering can take place. Okay, so you kena observe bahawa barang-barang itu macam mana dia categorize. There is no categories in the products that they sell. Unlike Tesco, alright? Tesco, yes, they have online ordering. So you tak boleh approach Tesco lah ya. You boleh tengok apa sistem, macam mana sistem yang Tesco sediakan. Maiden pun ada. Alright? So ada yang approach kedai Eco, kedai Eco macam Mr. DIY, they have anything under the sun. Cumanya DIY saya rasa grocery tak ada kot. They have macam-macam lah barang dapur yang apa ni,
satu sial.
electrical lah apa semua tu. So saya nak you cari yang fokus hanya kepada grocery. Kalau you approach macam kedai eco tu, they have groceries, they have other things, you may approach them but only focus to the grocery section. Okay, look at how they organize the grocery products in the store, how they arrange in such a way that bila you nak order secara online tentang sesuatu produk tu, you boleh choose the category. Daripada mana asasnya kategori yang mereka guna pakai untuk menyusun produk tersebut. That is a requirement, yeah, functional requirements in terms of business rule. Okay? All right. Any questions? Okay. Right. Thank you very much. So untuk group CS264 A dan B, okay. Please untuk minggu ini saya nak tengok kepada those yang belum jumpa your stakeholders, saya nak tengok your updates on the stakeholders, and also those yang dah jumpa, kindly update me with your interview questions of phase 1. What are you going to ask them with regards to the business process as well as about the organization? Belum kepada functionality of the system. That will be another one. Okay, probably when I give you the rubric for the presentation, it will be much clearer. Saya akan letakkan dekat Google Classroom nanti the template for the presentation. Presentation bukan minggu ni, presentation minggu depan, tapi minggu ni saya nak tengok you punya preparation untuk your data collection. Alright. So far so good. Right? Okay ya. Ada soalan lain? Okay, kalau tak ada apa-apa, that will be the session for today. Thank you for attending the session. So CS264, I'll see you in your session of tutorial nanti. Yeah. Then after this, you will go further into the requirements analysis and also modeling. Yeah, I will upload the slides nanti. Yeah. Thank you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, madam.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Welcome.
Baik aku.